simple at madali, and making it possible for those who've never been part of any banking institution, who've never had an account, just because they didn't have the necessary papers for it, actually now have chances to, get a hold of their finances and do more with it. Thank you very much for that message, Ms. Martha. Now I am sure everyone present has used GCash for their purchases, online transactions, and other payments. Indeed, we can see that the use of GCash in our everyday lives has grown. And we can also see how its easy accessibility and function has made the transition to digital payments much easier for many Filipinos. With that in mind, our next speaker will be talking about just how much GCash has grown throughout the years. So ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome the Chief Commercial Officer of GCash. A round of applause please for Mr. Oscar Reyes.
Good morning to our keynote speakers, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Felipe Medalla, Department of Trade and Industry ASEC, Mary Jean Pacheco, Attorney Marlon Marquina from the Commission of Audit, Director Alfonso Marali Jr. and Ms. Belinda Castro from the Department of Interior and Local Government, and our partners from the different LGUs, NGAs, and GOCCs here with us today. And to our attendees in Zoom, good morning to you. I'm here today to share with you GCash's recent journey and direction in contributing towards the country's economic growth. For us in GCash, we always start by going back to our consumer and understanding how we can add value. And this is what we saw. 63% of Filipinos do not have bank accounts, 26% do not have physical access to a bank, only 23% have access to insurance, less than 2% have credit cards, and only around 1% have access to investments. Or, in other words, the reality is that the vast majority of our countrymen still remain unserved and underserved when it comes to financial services. And this is the reality that GCash wants to change. Through innovation and inclusivity, we believe that we can create a positive and transformative disruption in the Philippine financial services industry. And this is best captured in how GCash has defined its vision. Finance for all. This is our thrust, our mantra, our North Star in our journey. A journey which started in the early 2000s but has accelerated exponentially in the recent years. This timeline captures in a snapshot GCash's journey thus far. Pre-pandemic, GCash worked tirelessly to establish its core services and lay the foundations for the mass adoption of fintech. During the pandemic, we built on the core and partnered with more and more businesses, national government agencies, and LGUs, thank you very much to everyone here, to empower our consumers with everyday essentials and become a tool for financial aid, especially during the lockdown. We continue to innovate and spread access to GCash post-lockdown, opening up more financial services to more people and building the fintech in ecosystems in more regions for more use cases. By focusing on innovation and providing access, GCash started becoming our kababayan's essential life hack during the pandemic. To paint a clearer picture, let me detail our story a little bit more. From 2019 to 2020, GCash onboarded top merchants towards convenient digital payments acceptance. We partnered with 53 brands, including Pure Gold, SM Supermarkets and department stores, Robinsons, Watsons, and Alphamart. We partnered with logistics providers to make funds disbursement more accessible now with over 300,000 onboarded riders today. And we partnered with various industries as their salary disbursement tool of choice. Of note were the key industries of manpower, transportation, and the BPO industry. From 2020 to 2021, GCash became a lifeline for Filipinos. GCash's easy-to-use, safe and secure platform drove familiarization of cashless payments to buy essentials, accounting for over 3.8 trillion in gross transaction value. GCash provided efficient financial aid distribution as the government's platform of choice, partnering with Makati, Muntinlupa, and DSWD to distribute 16 billion to 2 million Filipinos. With Villarica as a key partner in on-ground account creation for DSWD beneficiaries. We enabled bills payment for GOCCs such as SSS and Pag-ibig. And it even became a tool that fostered bayanihan with donations, acceptance, and disbursement with over 40 million pesos raised and delivered to beneficiaries. From 2021 to 2022, GCash has had an aggressive push to reach the grassroots communities and onboard underserved Filipinos. Over 40,000 market stalls, over 376,000 sari-sari stores, 53,000 toda drivers, and farmer and fisherman communities are now have access to GCash and are now using GCash. And apart from the core services such as send money or padala and pay bills, we are educating and giving them access to financial services such as G-Invest, G-Insure, and G-Save. So exactly the figures you saw earlier, they now have better access to these. Looking at 2022 and beyond, we have been stepping up efforts on the public sector, partnering with DTI, SSS, of course our LGUs, Palawan, Pampanga, Makati, and many more to champion financial literacy and education to our underserved Filipino community, having run 20 sessions across 7 months. And the next thrust is to serve our country and communities by building future-ready cities. These cities here already have started their journey towards this future, and GCash is a key partner and enabler in making this happen. So my question to all of you is, who wants to be the next future-ready city? Are you G for digital transformation? Yun. G for GCash. Thank you and good morning.
Round of applause, please, for this essential life hack called GCash. Everyone wants to be that future-ready city. Thank you for those insights, Hernan. It is truly amazing to see how much GCash has grown and how it has become an essential in the lives of many. Now that I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that one of the objectives of GCash is to make digital financing easier and more accessible to those who are unbanked and underbanked. And it goes without saying that in order to achieve this, collaboration is a must. Given that, let us all now learn about the adoption of digital payments that took place in the public sector. And to tell us more about that, let us all welcome the Governor of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Governor Felipe Medalla.
I see we have speakers from the Commission on Audit, Pag-ibig, DILG, and DTI joining us to share their experience in digital payments. Great to see you all here, our partners in digital transformation. Good morning. We thank GCash for organizing this webinar and engaging in conversation on advancing the digital financial inclusion agenda. This is important to us at the BSP, and we value the insights that can be generated from this event. Let me begin by going over our digital payments journey at the BSP. In 2017, we laid out the National Retail Payment System Framework, which gave birth to the interoperable digital payment channels such as PersoNet and InstaPay. Such reforms and digital infrastructures pre-pandemic proved crucial in the delivery of social remuneration funds, wage subsidies, and pension benefits during the community lockdowns, as well as in supporting the growth of e-commerce activities and online business platforms. Let me go over them briefly. 1. SSS disbursement via PersoNet. In October 2020, the Social Security system started the shift from checks to PersoNet as disbursement channel. The pension disbursements are transacted twice a month with an average monthly volume of 1.4 billion transactions valued at 6.7 billion pesos. Aside from pensions, PersoNet was also used in the distribution of benefits under the Small Business Wage Subsidy or SBWS program during the pandemic. Number 2, eGovPay. The eGovPay facility allows individuals and businesses to pay taxes, permits, fees, and other obligations to the government using PersoNet as the payment rail. As of June 2022, the volume eGovPay transaction reached over 15,000, amounting to 26.1 million pesos. The level has increased by 102% in volume and 66% in value compared to the same month last year. InstaPay and QRPH, P2P and P2M. The BSP, in collaboration with payments industry players, promoted interoperability in the financial landscape by establishing interoperable 24/7 electronic fund transfer facilities such as InstaPay, as well as by launching the national standard QR code or QRPH. The Philippines has made progress in digitalizing retail payments while broadening financial inclusion. Recently, the BSP observed that more Filipinos are choosing to pay through digital means. In fact, the share of digital payments to total retail payments volume in the country grew from 20.1% in 2020 to 30.3% in 2021. The government continues to lead the path to digitalization with 96.7% of its total payment transactions and disbursements already in digital form. Out of the 43.6 million total payments made by the government in 2021, 41.6 million are already in digital form. Payments for salaries and wages and social welfare payments with additional cash transfers form the largest portion of payments for the government, equivalent to 85.3% of the total volume. Payments related to these sub-use cases are already 96.7% digital. This rise in retail payments and digitalization go hand in hand with the broadening financial inclusion. 2021 data show that 53% of all adults in the country now have transaction or payment accounts. This expansion was primarily driven by the uptick in active e-money wallets and basic deposit accounts or BDA. From end 2019 to the third quarter of 2021, about 16.8 million e-money accounts and 3.6 million new BDAs were opened. These latest developments indicate that the BSP is on track in meeting its strategic objectives under the digital transformation roadmap of converting 50% of total volume of retail payments into digital form and onboarding 70% of Filipino adults into the financial system through the use of transactions account in 2023. Nonetheless, the BSP recognizes that there are still opportunities to further accelerate the development of an inclusive digital payments landscape in the country. For example, it is crucial to digitalize business payments as this accounts for 24.1% of total monthly retail payments in the country. While there has been progress in this area, we find that the volume of payments made by businesses through digital means such as supplier payments, business payment channels, trails behind digital payments by individuals and by the government. We also see opportunities to further digitalize government collections, which currently stand at 8.2% and 34.8% for digital payments made by persons and businesses to government, respectively. With the recent issuance of EO 170 on the adoption of digital payments for government disbursements and collections, the BSP sets further digitalization of government disbursements and collection as one of its top priorities. We are working with other government agencies to expand payment digitalization. With the Department of Interior and Local Government, we have the Paleng QR PH program, which we just launched in Baguio last weekend. Through Paleng QR, consumers can pay using contactless method at wet markets and tricycle hubs. With the Transport Department, we are working on the development of a nationwide interoperable automatic fare collection system. With the BIR, we are in talks to developing e-invoicing projects. Lastly, the BSP is co-chairing a public-private working group with the Department of Trade and Industry to operationalize its e-commerce roadmap 2020 to 2022. Moving forward, the BSP, in collaboration with the Philippine Payments Management Inc., or PPMI, will roll out more digital payment initiatives. 1. BillsPay. The interoperable BillsPay facility will enable both individual and business customers to settle their bills conveniently and more economically for utilities, loan amortization, and other recurring payments, even if customers and billers use different service providers. The implementation of the clearing switch operator level was completed in October 2021 for QRPA's P2B and is expected to service non-QR based payments by the end of Q1 2023. 2. Request to pay. The facility will empower payees to initiate collections by simply sending a request to pay. Payers only need to authorize the collection instruction from the payee by responding to the latter's request. The target implementation date is Q2 2023. 3. Direct debit. The direct debit facility will allow customers to better manage their higher ticket recurring items that can be scheduled in advance, such as monthly rentals, loan amortizations, and insurance premiums, by simply authorizing dealers to pull funds from the account of the payers. Let me end by sharing that the pursuit of a whole-of-society approach, which entails public-private collaboration, is essential in building a strong digital Philippine economy. In this regard, the BSP stands firm on its commitment to foster an enabling policy environment and pursue collaborative partnerships with national payment system stakeholders to advance payments digitalization. Again, thank you, GCash, for organizing this event, and may we all have a fruitful webinar.
Felipe. Now, I'm sure those insights have truly made many of our audience members realize the vital role that digital payments play in our society. Now, apart from using e-wallets like GCash to pay for things like groceries or your commute fare, it can also be used to pay for things like your monthly bills. With this, LGUs and government agencies can also adopt e-collections and e-payments into their existing systems. So, to share with us how this can be done, let's welcome the Director for Information Technology Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. A round of applause, please, for Attorney Marlon Marquina.
To the distinguished keynote speaker, the highly respected panelists, to the organizers, GCash, to our colleagues in government, our private partners, and our Zoom participants, good morning. I am Marlon Marquina, the IT Audit Director of the Commission on Audit, and our office is in charge in helping the Commission proper, that is the COA Commission proper, in formulating policies, particularly with regard to the use of technology in public auditing. And if we wish to remain relevant in our mandate, we need to see and look at the different changes in the environment. As you all know, business process is changing, and that comes with it the different rules and regulations. As you can see, let me take you back a few years ago when there is Uber in the room. But prior to Uber, the experience in traveling is not that convenient. For you to have mobility, you need to have a car, or you need to ride a taxi. But having a taxi is not always convenient, particularly if your house is inside a subdivision or some place not along the main road. Means you need to go in the main road to call a taxi. And then came Grab and Uber. Now you just need to use your phone and call a taxi, call a cab. And then the car will pick you up in front of your house. Imagine the convenience it brings to the commuting public. We in ETAW has this focus on using technology for efficiency and for innovation to bring better service to the public. And we are thinking of ways on how to make the same convenience extended to the government. Earlier, or perhaps our participants in Zoom will be interested to know whether their LGU or their government entity can use digital payment or digital collection in their transaction. The short answer is yes, but stay tuned on how can you do that in your offices. As I mentioned, innovation in governance is the way to go. Unless we will lose some opportunity. In the old days, before the pandemic, we in the government looking at the pandemic as a silver lining because it has fast-tracked the 10-year plan into 2-year plan. Everyone was forced to go digital, even those who are not familiar with technology or doesn't want to use online banking, online selling, online buying, are forced to go online because of the pandemic. And everyone was having the chance to experience going online. In the old days, the normal way would be for the local government to purchase bulk canned goods or noodles for the aid to assist our citizens. But that is not always the best option. I'll give you an example. For example, if there is a beneficiary in that particular aid that is, let's say, a senior and having dialysis for once a week, giving him canned goods or noodles would not do him good, right? But we can see nowadays that the good option would be to give him the financial, let's say, if I mention GCash, in the financial aid. And the beauty of now is the different government agencies, oversight agencies, are working together for a whole ecosystem. That particular senior citizen can now buy grocery using the palette QR. Hindi na kailangan i-convert sa cash because converting to cash might entail additional charge. So, giving him financial aid through electronic means would be a better option for him because he can choose ano yung pwede niyang kainin, ano yung bagay para sa kanya. He can go to probably Mercury Drugs to buy medicine niya using digital payment. And before, you need to fall in long line just to pay taxes. Imagine mo, bayad ka ng $1 million. You will wait for hours just to wait for your turn to pay. Now, because of digital payment, you can pay $1 million even without going out of the home, di ba? So you can, na-experience nyo na ba yun? That you were able to pay your taxes without queuing. So, we are, consistent with the Commission on Audit's vision of being enabling partner with the government through partnership with different stakeholders for the benefit of the Filipino, we encourage the use of technology. Interestingly to know, more than 20 years ago, there is a law passed that encouraged the use of electronic in government transaction. Back then, the state has declared that it is ICT plays a vital role in nation building. So, way back in 2015, IT Audit Office was created within the Commission on Audit to assist the government in giving flesh to this declared policy. The same law, I hope you can guess that particular law. Can I ask for a raise of hand? The same law declares that there's a need to develop and appropriate training programs and institutional policy changes to the human resources for the information age, information ready age, labor force, as well as the people capable of using cell phone in their operations. So, when I'm talking about the e-commerce act, nasa tingin ko, right na rin for amendment. Okay. The question is, the name of the law is e-commerce act. Well, it links e-commerce. The question now is it applicable to government transaction? The answer is yes. In fact, in that law, there's a specific part dedicated for government transaction, which is part 4, electronic transaction in government. And you might be surprised, because the law mandates, it says that all departments, offices, and agencies of the government that pursuant to a law requires or accept the filing of documents or provide for the methods and manner of payment or settlement of fees and other obligations in the government shall. When the law uses the word shall, it's not optional. But the law mandates the government agencies to require and accept payment and issue receipts acknowledging such payments through system using electronic data messages or electronic documents, among others. So why we seldom hear, or why do we always get questions from different agencies and LGUs asking us if whether they can go digital or whether they can accept payments on electronic means? The answer would be probably because of they are afraid of disallowance, right? So better safe than get the case. So the Commission Audit, true to its vision of being enabling partner of government agencies for a better life of every Filipino, has now embarked on different policy supporting e-governance in digital transactions. Just to name a few, we have COA Circular 2021, /006, when it pertains to the use of electronic document and the digital signature. Because if you want to go remotely, go remote transaction, you cannot avoid electronic documents. And if you